Hello, hello, welcome in. Hi. And I got to figure out chat. There's got to be a chat. Make sure I have that set up so we can all chat. Attendees can chat with no one. No, 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 no. We're going to make sure you can chat. Let's see here. Sound off in the chat. Let me know one of your favorite nerdy hobbies coming in. And just for those of you who might be new here, for us, a nerdy hobby can literally be anything. So it could be gardening, hiking, Legos, Pokemon, quilting. There we go. What's up, Anne? Hiking, beautiful. I can share some of mine. Nerdy hobby reading, Dungeons and Dragons video games. Sweet. Hi, George. Reading all the books. Proofreading and copy editing. I love that. What's up, Patricia? Nice to see you. Beekeeping, walking. See, we got so many cool nerds doing all types of cool things. My recently, I have been way deep on Magic the Gathering. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. But Magic the Gathering, I've been building, it's a trading card game. I've been building decks and playing with my son, who's 11, and we're having a ton of fun with that. And I do play Commander Laura. And my wife got me this little guy who's joining us today. And he's adorable, but he also screams. So if something blows, and his mouth opens, I think it's hilarious. So he's on my desk today for our webinar. All right. Awesome. Thank you everybody for jumping in. I'm figuring this is an experiment, so I'm still figuring out how to run the show. But the big goal today is to do a rapid fire coaching session. So we get lots of questions from our community about, hey, what should I do when this thing pops up, or I'm feeling this way? How can you help? Can you help me? And recently, for the 2026 Nerd Fitness Challenge that I've been running, we had an opportunity to just like write in an application and say, hey, do you want to hop on a 30-minute coaching call with me? Just to see how I can help. And a lot of people applied, which is amazing. And also, I realized I couldn't do it as one human, answer everybody. But there were really strong themes that came out in those applications as I was reading through everybody. And I thought it'd be really cool to get as many people as we can together in a room, uh, uh, bring people up. I think I can invite people on camera potentially. Uh, Promote to panelist. I think that's probably what it is. I think I can bring people on camera with me if you feel brave and want to get up here with me. And we can cover these kind of general topics by both being specific and helping you in your specific situation. Because I think there's a lot we can learn when something goes from kind of like theory to practical application directly for a single person. And then I'll also do my best to zoom out and help people apply that. So even if you're not up on the call, apply it to your own life so that you can uh, take that and run with it. And so I hope we get lots of really good information here in a short period of time for you. And I'm excited. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you being here. Um, Really quick for people who are like, who's this Matt guy that I'm listening to? Hi, I'm Matt. Uh, I've been a coach for over 16 years now, which makes me that's like dinosaur years in the fitness space, dog years maybe. So I'm like 90 something now, and I've been with Nerd Fitness for over 8 years. I'm the head of our coaching program, and if you've been getting our weekly newsletters for the last year or so, I have been writing those. So you've seen me there. Um, the one I wanted to start off with a really quick story and then we'll jump into some of the topics. But I wanted to share a story about how I started working at Nerd Fitness and a big realization that I had, which is that I had already been a coach for 8 years at that point, helping run personal training at a local gym in Indiana. And when I got the job at Nerd Fitness, I was like, great. I'm going to come in and I'm going to be so good with programming, with technique on movement. I'm going to like help people and it's going to be so cool to nerd out on fitness. And uh, that stuff was all still helpful, but it turned out that that is not was not the most important thing that I learned about helping people. And that actually the way that we help people was showing up for them, holding them accountable, helping them work through the messy lives, like things were not perfect. So it wasn't about writing the perfect program. It was about helping people figure out how do I actually make this work when my life is crazy? How do I deal with the ups and downs in my fitness and in my schedule? And showing up for people in that way and being able to talk them through their unique situation was actually the thing that I was doing that was helping the most people. And so, in the spirit of that, I hope that this session works as well. All right, George, I'm gonna try pulling you on camera just to make sure I can actually do this and it works. If I promote you to a panelist, what happens when you're promoted to a panelist? Can I make you? I want to see if I can. You declined being promoted to a panelist, George. You're killing me. Promote a different account. Oh my gosh. Well, there's two names on here. Promote to a panelist. Sweet. And then can I ask you to start video? Boom. Okay. You don't even really have to start the video, but I wanted to be able to see if we could do this. Beautiful. Awesome. Hey, George, what's up?
Hey everybody.
Hey, for those that don't know, George, longtime Nerd Fitness community member, and he works for us, helping us run the Journey app and Discord group, Facebook group. I kind of feel like you're the tome keeper, like you're the keeper of the knowledge of the Nerd Fitness stuff, Nerd Fitness community. So appreciate you being here and helping us out today.
Absolutely.
And thank you for testing the technology live with me. I appreciate it. I put you on the spot.
No, it's all right. I'm bailing out though.
Yeah, you can bail out. No, it's all good. It's all good. All right. All right. So I think I've figured this out. So what I'm going to do is I would love people to raise your hand. I think if you raise your hand, I can see it. Um, and volunteer. I'm gonna talk about a topic. And if if a topic sounds like something that you're dealing with in your own life, I would love to have you raise your hand or sound off in the comments, and I can pull you up as a panelist. You can come on video if you're willing. It does help to come on video because then I can see your face and it feels like I'm talking to a human and not a robot. Um, and you don't have to be in. It doesn't have to be a perfect batch. Just want to get you up here, coach you, see what we can do. All right, let's dig into it. So, first topic, and this was the thing that I got the most questions on. So I think we could actually probably help multiple people on this topic, um, which is I was really consistent. Then I lost motivation. I feel like I'm self-sabotaging now. I'm not sure how to proceed. How do you stay motivated while handling all your other obligations? So feeling like um, maybe you have been consistent in the past, but then stuff has popped up. It's been hard to continue. Feel like you're kind of your own worst enemy right now, and you're not sure what to do from here, and you have already have a lot on your plate. Is there anyone in the audience that, oh, Ashley, I'm guessing that that means uh, you feel that. So if you're willing, I'm pulling you up. I'm guessing that's, yeah, sweet. And hi, what's up?
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah, and your
definitely
volume
struggle with
even
that.
works. You're like a pro at this immediately. So thank you.
I do it a lot for work, so
Okay. Well, yeah, hopefully, I think everyone's gotten probably too used to the Zooms at this point. But awesome. Thanks for jumping up. Would you be willing to just
Sure.
share a little bit about your story and maybe how you see yourself in kind of that overall topic of feeling like lost motivation, self-sabotaging, trying to figure out what to do
Yeah.
next?
So, I run my own business, and so I mostly work from home. So I kind of can run my schedule however I want, but that also means I work super early in the morning or super late at night whenever people need me. And I have to do all my own marketing. I'm always running around business meetings and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, Over the summer, I my doctor diagnosed me as anorexic, which is super awesome. And then also with PCOS, with all of that craziness. So I struggle with
Okay.
eating, which was my biggest thing is to eat. And then I was told you got to start working out in a gym, lifting weights, to kind of build the muscle, which I absolutely hate. I hate work lifting weights. I just hate it. But I did it and I was doing okay. I also rock climb 2 to 3 times a week. I run. I have a farm that I also manage. So there's a lot on the plate. And
Yeah.
got into the new year super motivated, met some new people, had pretty much lost all my old friends group, met some new people, super motivating, had a slight tweak in the ankle coming off a rock wall and done. I couldn't recover.
Okay.
The
Yep.
schedule got overwhelming all of a sudden and everything kind of collapsed. And now all I do is beat myself up saying, you are better than this. You were better than this. You have all the food in the fridge and you're just not doing it. And I can't get back on the train.
Okay. Well, you've been on quite the journey and you've got a lot on your plate. I'm sorry that you tweaked
Yeah.
your ankle. So the first question or the first thing that I would ask here is um one, when you think about getting back at it, what does that look like in your head?
I tend to be an all or nothing person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um,
Self-diagnosing. Yeah.
yeah, so the first reaction is, well, we have to do rock climbing on Mondays and Fridays, and we are on our bowling league, and we have to make sure we practice with that. Well,
Yeah.
that only leaves Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for rock or for weightlifting. So, and if we're not hitting all of them, then we're not doing enough. So,
Yeah.
missing one, the whole system kind of collapses like dominoes.
Yeah. Okay. So, uh, that's my first instinct, which is that you were doing a lot. You threw yourself in all in,
Yes.
and um, that is great, but it's also very fragile,
Yes.
right? And especially when you have a lot of other stuff going on. And what we see happen, or what I've seen happen, is that people uh, hold themselves to that standard forever, then,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, that's doesn't even, if I'm not doing all of that, it doesn't count, right? Like,
Right.
totally doesn't count. Uh, and so I want to challenge you. I know that it's against your instincts. I want to challenge you to think about it in terms of collecting wins first.
Okay.
So it's not, I need to go to the climbing gym these days and weight lift XXX. It's, I'm going to try to work out once this week or whatever, right?
Mm.
And I don't even necessarily have to you don't even have to put a week on it. I'm literally just like, what's the next win? What's the next win
Right.
you can get? Is it like literally when we're done with this call, can you go to the fridge and get yourself some food for the rest of this webinar? Can
I
you
can
do
do that.
some push-ups off the countertop, just in the kitchen? I want to try to start building self belief and a rhythm, momentum by getting you a win in whatever way we can as quickly as possible. So
Right.
that's the first thing that I would do. And it's something that I think literally anyone here, if you're struggling to get started again, lower the barrier to entry on yourself a little bit and Start with something where you can just be like, I'm going to get the next win. That can be really, really helpful. The other thing um, that comes to mind, at least in your situation, again, I don't know if I'm not gonna be able to put out the whole life plan and hit each
Fine.
thing. But I do think it's interesting that you said you hate strength training. I'd love to touch on that at some point too. And uh, the other um, piece of this is that you've seen a pattern now, right?
Yeah.
You've seen a pattern of the random injury, like rolling the ankle or something else hitting you in the schedule can knock everything off. So, how can we be proactive about that for next time? And like, if that is, so let's just say that same exact thing happened again. What would you do differently in response?
Um, honestly, I'd probably just switch to working just upper body for a while, staying off the ankle. What can I do instead of using the ankle or being on the ankle?
Yeah,
Um,
perfect. And now that you have a plan, the whole goal is to move you from kind of in that reactive space where you're like, oh man, I don't know, to be like, oh yeah, this sucks. And I remember what I said last time. If this happened again, I was going to switch to upper body. So I'm going to try that and I'm going to get one upper body workout win and just see if we can build from there. So I know this is going to be hard for you to actually do. I know this is going to be hard for you to actually do. However, that would be my initial like what should you do next? You're stuck and you're not sure what to do next.
right.
Get a win, upper body workouts, lower the barrier to entry. You can ramp back up to that. That's fine if that's a
Sure.
long-term goal. Don't hold yourself to the same standard with everything you've got going on. The situation changed.
Right. Well, thanks so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, thanks for popping on. You were the brave first one. So extra gold star, extra XP, extra brownie points. Great
I'm gonna
job.
add that to the fridge.
Yeah, do it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
All right. Thank you, Ashley, for being brave. Anyone else in chat feel like they also struggle with consistency? There's different ways that we can approach this depending uh, on what you are wrestling with. So if anyone else wants to raise their hand, if you struggle to stay consistent with workouts, I would love to talk, or nutrition or whatever. Feel like you keep stopping and starting, I would love to talk to you. Please, please, please raise your hand. Oh, I see multiples. Yes. Sweet. All right. I think this is probably from Erika. Hopefully I didn't brutalize that. You're up next. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. And hopefully I think I just got you on the panelist. And you can.
Hello, it's
Hey, what's
Erica.
up? Erica. Cool, cool. What's up?
Sorry, here so you can see me, but it's not the best.
It's okay. Hi. Nice
How
to
you
meet you.
doing?
I'm good.
So my issue is that I just have a very stressful life, as most people do, and so when I get home, I'm just exhausted, and so when I start, it's I'm fine once I get started, but I don't hate strength training, but I do hate lower body. It's just more
Me
difficult.
too.
And then obviously with this weather, running
hmm
outside is not good. I have to go to indoor gym, which limits my because I can't do the treadmill, but I can do an indoor track, which is weird, but whatever.
Okay.
And so yeah, so that's my issue. And so if I have a bad week, like I had to work extra this week, it just threw me off and I just can't get it together. And I hate the morning. I hate how, baby's like, start in the morning. Okay, I'm not a morning person. So anyway, that's my issue.
Okay. What can I ask what your primary goals are too, just so I can try to frame
I mean, my primary
that?
goals are longevity. I of course
Okay.
I want to lose weight and be healthier, but I want um my the way I do things to just lead to that. Like I want to have good practices in place so that that naturally happens.
Okay. So it sounds like you're saying your goal is more what we would call like a behavior-based goal, if anything, right? Like
Mhm.
I want to build the habits that lead to the long-term outcome, but I'm more
Correct.
focused on trying to build those habits initially.
Correct.
Okay. And then high stress, morning's not great.
Yeah.
Routine can get interrupted by weather or just by being exhausted at the end of the day, and you're trying to like,
Right.
what do I do? What do I do when
Right.
I get off track? Okay. So part of this will sound like a broken record, which is that
Okay.
whenever you feel like you lost momentum,
Mhm.
right? The only thing I care about in the short term, if you're my client, right, and you're like, hey, I've had a horrible week, I've been off for a week, I'm exhausted, I don't know what to do. My only goal is to get you some sort of win, right?
Okay.
So that it feels like you are prioritizing yourself, even if it feels quote unquote small, right? So, for example, I have a client who just had a new baby, right? And guess what? Sleep sucks, right? Whenever after having a kid, and totally knocked them off their routine, and they didn't know what to do. And they were beating themselves up because they weren't getting these like the full, quote unquote, full strength training workouts in. We started by rebuilding momentum by doing a single set of push-ups every day, and that was it.
Okay.
And even more than like the physical uh piece of that, I think there's a mental piece of just being like, I am committing to doing this thing for myself. I am, like you said, your long-term values are building for longevity, making this a part of your life. I think you're kind of even more than physically, mentally signaling to yourself, like, I'm prioritizing this. I'm taking time out of my day to do this.
Right.
Um, and and this was the conversation I literally had with him. So I'll have it with you. So if I said you're exhausted and put yourself in that place, you're totally
Right.
exhausted.
Hmm.
Come home from work, you're stressed out, totally exhausted, and I say, okay, time to get up and do a 30-minute workout. And you say, like, heck
Right.
no. You say, heck
Right.
no. Okay. So then I say, what about a 15-minute workout? What do you, and then you're like, I'm asking literally, like 15 minutes. Like, I'm basically saying, when are you going to tell me to say stop? 15
I'd,
minutes,
I'd,
5 minutes,
I,
two
I don't
minutes.
think it's the time. I think it's getting started. So if I get
Sure.
started, I could do 30 minutes. So does 30 minutes sound daunting? Yes. But I could do it if I could just get started. I think that's it. I can't get started. I just can't get started.
Yeah. So one option, and what I'm suggesting is that if you lower the mental commitment that you're making up front, does it make it easier to get started? Maybe, maybe
Okay.
not. Right. But if you're saying like, well, I can do 30 minutes, like you're kind of like, I can do it, but I'm not. So I'm
Right.
saying, well, could I just get you to do 5 minutes? And you're like, yeah, I mean, it's nothing. I could do 5 minutes
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
Fine. I want you to try to, if this would help for you, right? So
Right. Right.
if this would work, I want to see if we lower that barrier and we get you in.
Okay.
Then if you decide you want to do more, fine.
Okay.
Right? But there can be some magic in lowering that barrier to entry in the front. So that's one piece.
So I just want to say that that sounds really good, and I think that that would work. My problem is is that I
Yeah.
know that I'm supposed to do 30. Even if I say, oh, if I do 5 it'll be fine. I'm just like, but I really should do 30, kind of like the all or nothing she was talking about. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard to lower my expectations of myself, which is not your problem, but I'm just saying.
No. Well, it's not my not my problem. It is something that we deal with in coaching all the time though.
Yeah.
So let's just take a zoom out. If we look at the last, this is what I would say, what I would ask you to do
Yeah.
is see if you could commit to a short-term experiment.
Okay.
I'm not telling you that this needs to be the way it is forever,
Okay.
right? For the next week, see if mentally committing to a 5-minute workout does anything for you. And if it doesn't,
Okay. Okay.
cool. We found another thing that didn't work.
Okay. Okay.
But from what you're telling me is the mental commitment to a 30-minute workout we've already kind of proven that isn't working right now in your current
Right.
state.
Yes.
So this is like the classic, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good
Okay. Yeah.
scenario in my mind. Now, there's
Yeah.
other things we can do, right? Like we can try to, uh, make it more fun in some way, like picking your favorite exercise or music or
Yeah.
working out with a friend if that's possible. I don't know. It sounds like you're exhausted on the couch, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's what I would challenge you in this moment is can you do a 1 week experiment for me, five
Okay.
minute workout, and then you can email me back. Email me back and
Okay.
say, hey, that totally sucked. Hated it. It didn't work. What else you got? But then at least we have like a focus and you can try something.
Okay.
That's where I would start.
No, I
And I
think
know I
that's
know
fair.
you're feeling some resistance, but
The resistance is just because I have the perfectionist, like you said, the
yeah.
enemy and all that, and it's just it's hard. But I have to
Yeah.
try it. So thank you. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, hey, thanks for stepping up and I appreciate you like exploring the resistance with me because people feel it all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, I hold myself I wrote about this the other week, but I also do the same thing where I'm like, well, I got to do it full send or like
Yeah.
does it matter?
Yeah.
And I know from working with hundreds and thousands of people that actually I know what the outcome of that is. The outcome of it is that you burn out and then you don't start again until you
Right.
finally get into a place where like the clouds part and work settles down and you're like, I can full send. And then you go at it and it works again for a few more weeks or months or whatever. And then it gets tipped over again and you're back. And that just results in you just bouncing up and down in your fitness
Yes.
level. And so what I'd like to do is raise the basement,
Okay.
right? This is the ground level now is 5 minutes a day is ground level for you. You always have that because you can do that
Okay.
no matter what. And then when you want to punch it up, you can, but you're never falling down below that 5 minutes anymore. And then we
Okay.
can build from there. That
That makes
I
sense.
think that would help. Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, I saw at least two other hands up. Did y'all put your hands down? Do you still want to come up? Did I already answer your questions? Nope. Got Mora. Emery, I saw Emery in the previous group. Oh, Mora just dropped. Hopefully it's not that I like said I didn't butcher your name or something. Emery, I'm gonna bring you up. I said I was gonna do 5 minutes. I think I'm probably more at like 10 minutes a person. I'll do my best to speed up. What's up? Hi,
Hello.
Emery.
Hey,
How are you doing?
pretty good. How about you?
Can't complain.
Excellent. Excellent. Um,
So, do you see yourself in this same kind of pattern where you're stuck in a start-stop cycle? Is there a different question? Okay.
yeah, yeah. Start stop cycle. Primarily because of people I live with and my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I my partner decided to try running with me, which was initially my activity, and now I really want to make sure that they stay in it, and then I end up limiting my running activities to when they're available. So there's
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's piece number one. Piece number two is more on the food side. You can go whichever you like.
Yeah.
Um, I've got some folks in my house, and when it's my night to cook, they don't like it. And so I end up tailoring what I'm purchasing, what I'm cooking to everyone's food taste, and it's not nourishing me
Okay.
as well as I would like.
Okay. Yeah. Tough. And the food thing, like, it sounds like you're in like a shared living space situation where everyone's
Mhm.
like kind of pitching in and stuff. See
Yeah,
similar things with like, partners who don't want to eat the same food or kids that don't want to eat the same food. And you're just, I got to get food on the table. What am I supposed to do?
yeah.
So, I will try to, I think two things initially on the food side of things. And you can tell me if you think either of these would work for you.
Sure.
The first would be, uh, more what I would call buffet style meals,
Hmm.
right? So it's like here's a bunch of little things that people can pick and choose from, and then you're able to grab some of the stuff that works for you. So for like this is something I use with my kids. They love it, right? So this again, this is
Mhm.
kids. I know it's roommates, kids, but having some different protein options out, having some different, fruits and veggies out that people can pick from, having like the pasta or the rice or whatever the like
Mhm.
potatoes, the staple is going to be, having some sauces, and then it's kind of mix and match. And then hopefully there's enough in there, there's enough variety that people can kind of find what they want and frees you up to grab some foods or even have like a little extra thing on the side that you like. So like that could be
Yeah.
an option for doing that. Um, uh, the other thing that'll sometimes have people do is just uh, supplement with one small easy thing. So let's say you're, I'm just throwing out random things, but let's say you're making spaghetti for everybody, right?
Mhm.
And you look at the meal for yourself and you're like, I could use some more veggies in this, or I could use some more, another protein source in this, or whatever.
Yeah.
Finding some sort of cheap, easy way to add just that little bit of something. You can have it as a snack as you're making the meal, whatever, or after. So maybe it's like I'm just gonna grab a green apple, right? Or like supplement with that, or I'm going to um, have some Greek yogurt as a snack while I'm making it. So I'm bumping up my protein intake or something like that. That I don't know. Do either of those ideas resonate or could they work in your situation? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like the add-on.
Hmm.
Um, the challenge is that if I could get away with just eating vegetables, I totally would. Everyone else here is a carnivore. So
Yeah.
they want like chicken and beef, and I'm like, tofu, great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big like pasta person. I mean, rice, awesome. So there's a lot of rice-based meals, and kind of like as you're describing that build your own like bowl style
Yeah.
has been. It's just a matter of cooking for quantity.
Mm.
If I'm cooking chicken, the other four together will easily eat like 2 pounds of chicken. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of food to cook when I'm not also going to be eating it. And so it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's tough. I would see. Yeah. I would also like, I would try, I would probably also have the other thing that came to mind with just like the eating situation and the partner situation is I would just be, have you talked to them? Have you talked to them about it? And I don't know what the response has been, but uh, I would mention something like, "Hey, like, is it cool if we try this thing this week, please? Whatever."
yeah,
Um, lentil pasta. I know you said you're not a pasta person, but I'm just trying to think of like those things that could be kind of like in betweeners
yeah.
that could help. Um, so that's a but great question. And anything where it's like multiple people's opinions and tastes and everything, there's no like clear, easy answer is what I would say, and just trying to figure out like the little wins that you can
Hmm.
is likely going to be your best bet.
Yeah.
Maximize your other meals outside of that time as much as you can to get like tons of veggies in because you just know you're not going to get it as much in that group meal. And then with your partner with running, um, you identified the pattern. Do you feel, have you talked to your partner about that pattern, or you feel you don't want to discourage them if you bring it up, or where are you at with that?
Yeah, like we've kind of had like roundabout conversations of like, oh, you're doing this thing. I would love to join you. And then
Yeah.
then it feels like an obligation to then do it at that point, even if my schedule shifts. Um, so
Got it.
yeah, I don't think we actually have directly addressed the issue. So that would be a good conversation to start with.
Yeah, I think, and those things are, I mean, it's never easy communication, like that stuff. Like I said, with the food stuff, it's challenging. What I would say though is, again, if you're my client, I would say, hey, I think it's okay to set a boundary here.
Mm,
Um, and do it in a loving way that's not like, hey, I'm so excited you're doing this. Some days, my days are just going to be crazy and it's easier for me to run at a different time.
right.
But every time we can run together, I love it. Let's do it. And it might not happen all the time.
Yeah.
So, and I would just try to be your support in for it's okay to set that boundary and kind of like talk through it.
Yeah.
It's where my head goes. So I hope that helps. I think if I could take broader takeaways for anyone else listening, it would be those two things. It would be um, life is messy. It's like figuring out food and stuff with family, friends, people that you're living with can be tough. Finding those conversations that you can have and or those little wins, those little add-ons that you can have that help kind of round out your day. I think that maybe is a way to think about it is think about your food in terms of an entire day or an entire week rather than a single meal needing to like
Mm,
hit a specific
yeah.
metric. Then you have a little bit more flexibility. You can kind of fill in the gaps earlier or later in the day or week,
Yeah.
and then not feel as beholden to this meal needs to look a certain way. Maybe that
Right.
helps.
I like that. Thank you.
Yep, cool. Thanks so much. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
And got it. All right. Mora, I see you. Hand raised. Come on down. You're the next contestant.
Hi,
Hey, what's up?
how are
How's it going?
you? Good,
I'm
good.
great.
Hi. So I'm a longtime one-on-one training customer. So I've
Oh,
cycled through a bunch of coaches. I'm with Evan right now, but I thought I would
oh, awesome.
take
Sweet.
the
Hi.
chance. Hi.
Thanks for giving us a chance. Thanks for working with us.
um, so I've come a really long way since I think I started with, and this is my question. I started with you guys when I was on my second frozen shoulder, or I got my second frozen shoulder shortly after joining you guys. And so now at this age, I'm finding just like these tweaks and injuries, not like anything big, like they just seem
Mhm.
to always roll in. And so I'm just wondering, like, is there, so for the shoulders, lifting has been amazing. Like, I've not had any shoulder pain for like, I mean, knock on wood, years. And I started swimming again,
I'm
and
knocking on
it's
wood
really
too.
great.
I got it.
Yeah. um, so, but now it's like the knees, the hips, just, like rotating, aches and pains. And so, is there anything I can be doing, like warming up better before I work out or before my runs to sort of, or like yoga or just anything I can add in to, or is this just the way it's going to be? And I just have to like, typically I'll like run a block and I'll be like, oh, the knee hurts, and then I'll just give up. And that seems like the right choice, but is there any way I can sort of like, do anything to prevent
Yeah.
that cycle?
Well, I think there's probably something. I mean, the thing with injuries or whatever, just because depending on the cause, right, of what's going on or what's causing the pain or whatever, there's not necessarily a magic bullet that I can give you that's going to be like, hey, you're going to be pain free. And I feel like I see this stuff on Instagram. It's like you're
Yeah.
just missing these 5 warm up exercises, and if you do them, you are going to be bulletproof, and your joints will glisten in the sun, and like it's just going to be like everything's so good. But I do think there is preventative stuff you can do. So the first question I would ask, you kind of talked about a little bit, was um, do the tweaks
Oh, sorry,
show
you're
up?
breaking up a little.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just do you get? I was thinking for a second. I short circuited,
There
so I
you
don't know if I broke up. Uh,
go.
do the injuries or tweaks or strains, etc., show up when you're working out? It sounded like one of them was like during a run.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be like sometimes it'll be like I'll just start a run and get a few steps in and I'll be the knee hurts, and sometimes I'll be like let me take 10 more steps and it'll go away. Other times it'll just like go away, then come back, and then I'll just abort the mission. Or sometimes with lifting, like I'll just feel a twinge in my back and I'll just be like, all right, that's it for the day. Like just
Okay.
stop because I don't want to push it further.
What does your current warm up look like?
So for running, it's really minimal, just like a little cut. Like I mostly warm up my feet and ankles because otherwise they just feel dead. But it's just like a little bit of dynamic stuff, and then I walk for like 5 minutes before I start running.
Okay.
Lifting, I do. it's really pretty basic, just like some like squat body weight stuff, squats and arm circles and like a couple other things I picked up along the way, but nothing, but really just like a couple minutes, like not any extended
Okay.
length of time.
Okay.
And I should say for the record, Evan programs me a warm up every day and I don't do it. So not his fault.
Okay. Advice one, do the warm up your coach programs. Uh, uh, okay. So, other than that, yeah, the way that I would think about any kind of tissue tweak, injury, whatever is happening, twinge, um, is that we want to make sure we're doing two things before getting into a more intense exercise session. One is elevate your heart rate and get the blood pumping a little bit. And two is prepare the specific joints and tissues that are going to be used in that workout
Hmm.
to progressively handle that load. So even in running, like there's impact, like there's load on your knees and your joints, right? So it could be as simple as, for example, um, doing that walk, and then after the walk, you're warmed up, but you haven't necessarily done the impact of running yet,
Hmm.
right? So doing some stuff like walking knee hugs, right? So I'm good going away from the microphone, but
Hmm.
basically
Hmm.
because you're trying to get more range of motion through the knees specifically for
Hmm.
before you start running. So walking knee hugs, even stuff like skipping is amazing for warming up and is super fun. And if you try to
Hmm.
skip down the street and look mad while doing it, I defy you to try. Like skipping down the street, just looking super angry. But it's a great warm up for knees, ankles, hips, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Marching with a little bit more of a stomp into the ground because then you're not taking the full weight that you will in the run. But again, we're just trying to prepare those tissues to handle that and build a little
Hmm.
bit of that elasticity in,
Hmm.
and then I would go
Okay,
right,
that
and I
makes
would
sense
try
because,
that.
like, yeah, that kind of will reverse the order that I've been doing things. Because I had been doing a little bit of warm up and then walking to where I start my run and then running. So I think if I reverse that, yeah, that's a good idea. And then my other big question is for you is do you have so I'm really liking like longer endurance cardio lately, but I have to like a lot of times I just well also we have snow right now. I just have to like or abort the run because my knee hurts or something. So do you have ideas for alternate cardio? I
Hmm.
swim already and I have an assault bike at home, but I don't like it for like long like for
Oh
long
yeah, because it's
I've
brutal,
tried.
brutal
Yeah,
without. Yeah.
I've tried it. I just can't. So like and I'm willing to like invest a little bit for home equipment or even just like get myself to the gym. So I don't know if you have anything that's like low impact but like gonna get the heart rate up that could be kind of fun and new. Like anything you can think of.
Um, well, the first things that come to mind for me are dancing. I don't know if like dancing stuff. Like I
That's
even just put on YouTube videos and dance to them and stuff. It can be
okay.
super fun. Uh, I personally, especially if you've had joint stuff, I think recumbent biking is really awesome, and you can get some cheap recumbent
Yeah.
bikes out. So that can be pretty cool. I know some people, depending on how much you like video gaming, right? Some people really like virtual boxing or Beat Saber or
Mhm.
other stuff that kind of gets your heart rate up. Um, so I think those could all be great. The other another kind of like it's I guess it's less long form cardio, but the other thing that comes to mind is especially since you said like wanting to like bulletproof your joints and stuff is spend like 10 or 15 minutes just getting up and down off the ground in different ways. That will get your heart rate up pretty good,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
practicing basically like fall prevention, basically,
Yeah.
and so it's like you almost think of it like a skill. Like, can I
Yeah.
get up
Yeah.
in different ways, like sitting up, standing up,
Yeah,
rolling to get up.
yeah, and that'll help my feet and ankles too, which are
Yeah.
really. Oh, by the way, okay, wait, I will stop taking up so much time. There's this hilarious movie, I cannot remember the name, with June Squibb, and she plays this old lady who like foils a heist, and there's this hilarious scene where she uses some skills she's learned on mobility to like roll across a bed and like steal something, and it's so funny, and it reminds me of like you telling me that I need to start practicing getting up off the ground because I'm getting
Yeah.
old. So thank you very much.
Well, yeah.
Someday I'll use it to foil
I was like,
a
have you
fall
gotten up
prevention.
off the ground recently? No, those are some good ones. Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yep. Okie dokie. Well, thank you for everyone raising hands and coming on. This has been great. Better than just talking to myself, for sure. Tanya, I think you are next.
Sorry about that.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Um, yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hanging in there.
Oh, that's good.
How can I help you?
My question is, I'm an advanced lifter. I've been lifting almost 16 years.
Okay.
Um, and I'm just wondering, is it possible to keep building muscle? And like specifically, I found it really hard to build visible muscle in my lower body.
Okay. So you're saying advanced lifter, lifting for 16 years, want to know basically like have you hit a ceiling? Like can you keep progressing past that and specifically uh build muscle in your lower body? So the answer the answer is drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Probably. You probably can. So there's going to be different factors, right? Just for everybody based on where how easy it is for them to put on muscle, right? And there's going to be some natural differences. The fact that you are more of an advanced lifter and have been doing it for a long time does mean that a lot of the easier, right, muscle building gains, um, uh, have already happened, right?
Yeah.
However, even in advanced lifters or people that have been lifting for decades, there's still opportunity for improvement and growth. And there are a couple of things I would double check for you thinking through this, right? Um, the first would be, I know you're gonna hate it. Well, maybe you won't hate it, but the first would be just making sure you're getting adequate protein in, right? To support muscle building in general, especially if you're in general, we recommend at the maximizing muscle building is around I'm trying to do my conversions in my head. It would be zero point 0.7 grams per pound of body weight in protein is kind of where we think muscle protein synthesis caps out. Now there you may still get benefit going above that because there's individual variation there. So if you're like concerned, like this is really important to me, I really want to figure this out, you could try like anywhere up to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day as a top end. So I'd make sure you're checking that box. Then I'd make sure you're checking the box of are you eating enough just in general. Like if you want to build muscle, being in a slight caloric surplus is going to be helpful. So, I would double check your food. So that'd be the second thing I would check. And then the third thing, and especially for advanced lifters, sometimes you have to do what we would call specialization blocks. So that would mean ramping down the volume and intensity. So doing less sets, less exercises for your upper body, and more exercises and more volume for your lower body, especially if that's a specific goal. And the idea here that hopefully could apply to anybody is that your body only has so much recovery. Recovery is like a bucket, right? And you're pulling from that recovery bucket. And if you're working out everything equally, especially as an advanced lifter, like that recovery is getting spread all around, but you might not have enough. You might need to specialize for a short period of time where you're like, okay, I'm giving my lower body more recovery resources because I'm going to ramp it down in this other area of my body and I'm going to crank it up with my lower body lifts. And I would do that for 12 weeks at least, doing more of a lower body intensive workouts. So if you're doing those three things, right, I would assume that you're going to see some progress. I think you'd start seeing some visual progress after 12 weeks. But the percentage of muscle that you're going to build is going to be lower than for a beginner. So you might have to just take that out on a longer time horizon. You might have to do that, something like that, cycling onto that type of programming on and off for 6 months, a year to see meaningful, visible progress. But I think that my guess is that you can still make progress there with those boxes checked. Um, and you'd have to just try it and see. But I don't hope. Does that sound like stuff you've already been doing? Do you feel like that gives you some insights and something to work with?
Well, I'm definitely getting enough protein. I actually eat more protein than I need, but I think I already know that I'm not quite eating enough,
Yeah.
and I'm doing legs 2 times a week, where maybe 3 times a week, and upper body twice a week would be better for me with
Yeah.
that sort of goal in mind.
Yeah. There's a kind of crazy study that came out that was trying to figure out what the upper limit for muscle building was. How many sets of like leg press, leg extension could you do and we could visibly see you build more muscle? And it capped out at like they couldn't find the limit. It was like Mean Girls. The limit does not exist. And it was basically that they were getting up to like 50 sets. Normally we do 5 to 10 or 10 to 20 sets, but they were getting up over 50 sets but it only worked as long as they weren't also doing tons of other lifts on other parts of the body. So that's that whole thing is I think you can probably add more volume to the lower body if you tone down the upper body a bit and see some growth. So hopefully that helps. Give it a try. Let me
Yeah,
know.
no, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, I think the one of the takeaways there for anybody, whether you're just starting lifting or you've been lifting intensely for a long period of time, is check those the boxes, like see where is the potential hole, and also know that like if you have a very specific goal, you can specialize for short periods of time on that goal, and that can actually boost your progress and be awesome. So hope that helps. All right. I don't see any more hands raised right now, so I'm going to pull from my written list I'll give someone 15 seconds if someone wants to raise their hand and come up and hang out with me. Love to have you. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about consistency. We've talked about some injury and warm-up management. Here's a couple other when I was looking through all the different questions, I felt like everything kind of fell into three different buckets. There was consistency, like how do I stick with this? And there's a bunch of different scenarios where people needed help with consistency. There was clarity, kind of like I kind of need to know what to do in this situation. I'm not exactly sure what my next step is. Um, and then there was progress, which is that, hey, I've already been doing stuff, but I'm feeling stuck and it's frustrating. I'm not sure exactly how I break through this plateau. So I think a lot of the questions kind of group into these buckets, but there's very many different flavors of that. So let me pull one. Okay, this was a good one. Okay, topic was how to work out with minimal equipment and balance doing enough without being incredibly sore for the next many days. Uh, balance minimal equipment, doing enough without being incredibly sore for the next many days. If there's anyone who has questions about this style of training, like how do I balance training? I feel like I'm too sore. Feel like I'm not progressing or getting stronger. I don't know if I'm doing enough. If you have any questions like that, feel free to raise your hand. Would love to chat with you. But in general, um, you don't need a lot of equipment to work out. We have in our coaching program, we have people tell us whatever equipment they have access to, and then we build workouts around that. The majority of people have access to little to no equipment, actually. And they're working out at home, working out with minimal equipment. Maybe they have a set of bands or like a single dumbbell or something, and we can work with that. We have a great article. George, maybe you can grab it for me if in case someone wants to check it out. But we have a great article called How to Build Your Own Workout, which will lead you through some of this. But my general thinking is that you want to try to hit a lower body movement, an upper body pushing movement where you're pushing your arms away from your body, and an upper body pulling movement where you're pulling stuff towards your body, and then build from there. But if you have those three movements as a base, that's a great place to start. And then the balance doing enough without being incredibly sore for the next many days. So there's a couple ways that the incredibly sore part pops its head up. Delayed onset muscle soreness, general DOMS. I know George posted about that in the chat. Delayed onset muscle soreness happens most frequently when you have a sharp jump in the amount of exercise you're doing or the intensity of that exercise or the variation of that exercise. So if you think about it, like you could be lifting in the gym 3 days a week consistently for a year, and then you go to your first Pilates class and you are sore as heck for a week. Why? Like, didn't you've been lifting, your muscles have been doing stuff. Why does that happen? It happens because the type of challenge that your muscles are going through, the unique movements that your muscles are going through are totally new. And so while there was some benefit and some carryover from all the strength training you did, doing something new and doing a bunch of it is going to make you sore. So if you are just starting out, what you want to do is just have a planned way to ramp up your exercise over time. The number one thing that I see, especially if you've worked out before, is that people kind of remember how hard to work out and how much they were able to do before. And so they'll just jump in and try to do something that was very similar to what they were doing 6 months ago or a couple years ago. And that jump in the amount of exercise that you're doing and the intensity of that exercise leads to tons of soreness. So instead, you want to start by ramping up one set of those three exercises as an example to start one round of each of those exercises and call it quits. There's this thing that keeps coming up tonight about people feeling like they need to do the perfect thing. And you're going to build to that. You don't have to start there, right? And perfect is a slippery slope anyway, thinking in those terms. So trying to ramp up that way and adding one set every week until you get up to 3 sets, and then you can start adding reps and stuff from there and weight from there. If you have weight, if you're doing minimal, if you have no workout equipment, you can just add reps. But it's really about a slow ramp up over time. And I think a lesson is that thanks, Melanie. Thanks for being here. I think a lesson is just that we put so much pressure on ourselves. And I feel like sometimes my role as a coach is to push people, but it's also to rein people in so that we can have this smart, uh, periodized programming that helps them ramp up without getting too sore. And you are doing enough, especially if you haven't lifted in a while. Your muscles are really, really sensitive to strength training, whether that's body weight or with weights. And so you get a lot of benefit from a little bit of input. You don't need a lot of input to see the benefit. So there you go. Did that pull some questions up for you? Anyone else want to raise their hand, jump on with me? Can be a different topic if you're interested. Maura, I see your hand. I'm going to wait just for a minute to see if anyone else who hasn't had a turn can jump on. And if not, happy to chat again. Yeah, I see the chat too. Yeah, George, when it comes to DOMS, motion is lotion. Yeah, so if you are super sore, you've already gotten there. Low intensity movement, walking, gentle movements, gentle like joint circles, moving your arms in circles, legs in circles, moving will help some. Um, if you're not sore, are you doing enough? What soreness is not the only metric. So my other questions would be stuff like, Mandy, are you able to lift more reps in those same exercises? Do you feel like your exercise technique is improving? Can you use more weight or do a more challenging variation? If you're not sore, you're not able to do more, don't seem to be getting stronger. Like if all those boxes are checked, then likely there's two scenarios. Either one, we need to ramp it up somehow, right? And challenge you a little bit more. And there's different ways we can do that. Or two, you're actually like super overtrained, and what we need to do is take like a deload week, which would be a week where you back way off of the weights and the exercises. Do like half of what you normally would and let your body recover a little bit more, and then go back in and try to build up again. Oh, okay, Maura. Yep, great. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so if there's also the technique. You could be targeting muscles that you're not meaning to do, and so you're getting sore that way. So getting a form check can be really helpful. Stacy, I see you said a comment, don't seem to be getting stronger. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want me just trying to generally talk about that to the group? I would be happy to bring you up and chat through your programming and see what we could do if you want. Being on camera not required. Yeah, happy to. Okay, so Stacy's question is, in Stacy, you can put type in the chat if you want. You said you don't feel like you're getting stronger. How many days a week are you working out? What do those workouts look like? If you could give me a little bit, if you give me a little bit of feedback on that, I'd be happy to riff off of that. And then 5 days a week, 30-minute lifting weights. Okay. Are those can't increase push-up reps? How many reps are you doing right now? 8. Do you feel like you're not getting stronger in that? Oh, okay, for a year. So you feel like you've been really plateaued at 8 push-ups for a while. Um, do you feel like you're not getting stronger in your other exercises as well, or does it just feel like it's the push-ups? Just push-ups. Okay. So here are my thoughts initially. Are one, if it's just push-ups that you're stuck in, then I would want to do a form check. The fact that you're getting stronger in other areas feels like you're probably building some muscle, you're developing some strength, and I'd want to see what's going on in those push-ups just in case there's like a little thank you, Patricia. Uh, I want to see in those push-ups, is there some sort of little technique tip that I can give you that would uh, help help you progress more? So that would be the first thing I would check. The second thing that you can do though is if you can't increase push-up reps, you probably can still increase the total amount of reps you do in any given workout. So, for example, let's say you're doing 3 sets of 8 reps of push-ups, or maybe that's your max, like your single set. You do 1 set, if you did as many push-ups as you could, you get 8, and then you feel like you burn out at that point. Rather than keeping trying to do 8 and then feeling like you're burned out and can't do more, we could try to do 6 at a time, but do more rounds of it. And you could break it up and spread it throughout your workout more so that there's more recovery time in between. So maybe you do some squats and then you do a set of push-ups and then you do some lunges or other lower body thing and then you do a set of push-ups, right? And you just sprinkle that in. And by the end of the session, you might have done 5 or 6 sets of 6, and now we're have done 30 to 36 push-ups in that workout, and that can help you break through that plateau. So there's like some ways you can play around with the set and reps that will help you get more total push-up work in, which should help you feel stronger and build some strength in that specific movement. Sweet. Glad that helped. Artie, I saw you drop a question as well. Do you want to come up and chat about it, or you want me to just kind of riff on it? Let me know. Just riff. This is turning into a solo podcast, guys. I will do my best. How do you know when to up the load and intensity versus take a break to recover? Well, it would kind of depend on your situation. Do you know, for example, on the load and intensity, Artie, don't have camera capability. Do you have, if you have a microphone, happy to just chat with you like we're on the phone, like on a phone call. Uh, in general, what I would say is in most programs, you're going to start off and you're going to purposely try to increase either reps or load, so the weight that you're using each week uh, for a period of 4 to 6 weeks, usually. And then you're going to have a planned deload where you back off that intensity for a week to let yourself have extra recovery time. And then you start that cycle over again, a planned slow increase. So let's say you're lifting 100 pounds of something. You might go 100 pounds, 105 pounds, 110 pounds, 115 pounds, rest, and do 60 pounds. And then the next time, instead of starting at 100 pounds, you start at 105 pounds. You can go 105, 110, 115, 120, rest, and then build that way. So that's like the first general programming principle I would think about. The second piece of that would be sometimes just because life is not perfectly organized like that, right? That can be the theory of how we want to program things, but I there's very few times in the year where any of my clients have just like smooth sailing with their programming where a kid didn't get sick, you didn't get sick, you didn't have travel and didn't have access to your same stuff. Like routines get interrupted. Um, Stress levels change and that changes your recovery too. So if you go to the gym, you're in the middle of a program, or work out at home, and you're excessively sore and tired and you're unable to go up in weight, or you feel like really shaky with that weight, uh, and that happens more than once in a row. So if you have 2 days where you're like unable to hit the sets, reps that are programmed, the idea of increasing, you might be over overtrained, like needs under recovered. You might need some extra recovery. And so you can add a single deload session where for one session you purposely go in and back off the reps and the weight. And in general, when I do a deload session, just cut both by 50%. Makes it easy. It's going to feel super easy to get through, but that's the point, so that you practice your technique, you practice good exercises, and you give your body more recovery. And actually, like moving a little bit will make you have better recovery than if you're just completely resting, right? So then you can build off of that. Hopefully that helps, Artie, give you an idea of like a general, like in general, you want to try to increase intensity or load or reps each week for 4 to 6 weeks, then back off. If life throws you a curveball, be ready to have a little back off session in the middle there and keep going. Ashley asks, struggle with how much rest time between sets. Is that apparently that's a thing you should do? Um, so yeah, rest between sets. Here's the thing, like there used to be very specific prescribed numbers for this, where it was like if it's a really hard low rep strength set, you're going to do 3 to 5 minutes, and if it's a muscle building set, you're going to do 1 to 2 minutes. It really depends on the muscle and the body parts being used. Like your legs are going to need more recovery time than your forearms, right? Or so it's like it just depends. What I would say is your goal of a rest period is that you take enough time off that you can go back and do the movement with good technique for close to the same number of reps. So if you were doing a set of 10 and you take a short break and then you can only get 5 because you didn't rest long enough, then you need to rest longer. Then you just feel mentally and physically ready to put out the same amount of effort that you just did. And for most people, 30 seconds to 2 minutes, somewhere in that range is going to be plenty. But that will help. But there's no magic number here that you have to do. You just make sure you can go back and hit it hard. And this is why we like supersets. Because in supersets, especially if you like pair like an upper body lift with a lower body lift, your other part of your body is kind of resting, quote unquote, resting while you're working the other muscles. So the only thing you have to watch out for in that situation is just making sure your heart rate's not so high, you're not so out of breath that that's affecting your exercise, your lifts. This is specifically for strength training. Okay. George, oh, you were coming up. Yeah, come on down.
Oh no, no video. Hang on one second. Video is disabled by the host.
What? I didn't disable your video.
It says.
That is ask to start video. Look, I'm asking you to do it. I would
All
never.
right. Oh no, is it my phone? Oh yeah, my phone's taking over the video. Hang on one second. All right, we're gonna do this in a weird way. Disconnect. Got too many devices over here. Sorry, Matt.
You're good. Hey, I like it. There's a Nerd Fitness PDF is like product placement right there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Here, try the. I'm gonna try the video one more time. There we go. There we go.
Got it. Nice.
All right. So, just a general question for the coaching session, but I struggle with fitness ADHD, like goal ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I want to run a 5K. Tomorrow, I think I want to be the strongest man in the world. Over the weekend, I'm going to try to do a back handspring or something. I don't know, but
That'd be
but
amazing.
yeah, it would be pretty rough on me if I just went right in. But what I feel like a lot of times I get stuck on my progress towards any goal because I kind of move through goals, and maybe it's not terrible. I mean, I'm doing something, which is good,
Yeah.
but I don't know. What do you think? Have you dealt with any clients that sort of struggle with goal ADHD that maybe hinders their progress towards
Yeah.
deeper, I don't know, fitness goals?
Yeah, sure. We call it shiny object syndrome. You're like, ooh, that over there, that looks pretty. And you wanna track that down. Uh, and I actually had a question about this, which is so funny. I think I had someone write in a question saying that they want to figure out if there's a way to like basically make their desire to try different things a strength instead of a weakness was kind of the idea. Um, so the way that I would put this in general is that there's trade-offs with everything. So uh, I think if the question I would say is, has there ever been a time in your life where you have stayed super laser focused on the goal, and how did that feel? Did you enjoy that or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think running has always been one of my main passions. Like, trying to get in. I got into the race scene a long time ago, and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't do anything else. I really did running, and I was not doing any weightlifting and whatnot, which is also a goal. But it was just kind of what I did. But I did enjoy it at the time, and then injury, later, and years later of kind of
Yeah.
letting it slide. But yeah, I think I've had times where I've really been laser focused.
So I would say there's a couple of different options here, and it just depends on what works for you, right? The first would be um, if you know you have varied interests, and if you feel like you're going to get pulled in a lot of different directions, uh, you have either option A is you set up systems for yourself to stay focused on the make keep the goal. The goal is to keep the goal, right? And you can try to keep you can try to keep focus on that thing, and that would just be like having reminders about why you're doing it. The other thing that I think helps is putting a time box on it and say like, hey, that seems really cool. I'm gonna put that on a list of things I'm gonna try next, right? But I've committed to 12 weeks, right? Or whatever of this one thing, I think can be helpful. And you can, because really that's what periodization is. And that's how athletes train is like they're not training the same way all year round, right? There's different phases of training that get more specific to their sport the closer they get to the season. And then it goes back to more general training elsewhere. So, I feel like I haven't lasered in on an answer here for you yet,
As you're
but
talking through that, I was thinking I think a lot of what drove me in the past when I was very, sort of hyper focused on a certain thing was maybe the event of it as well, which is sort of like a time box, I guess. I remember just, being
yep.
part of the not just running scene, but the kind of the race scene where you have a goal at the end of it and I've not done that in a long time, honestly, so maybe it's kind of one of those things where maybe I should set a box on it, but also have that box have like a event or something at the end, like a
Yeah,
like a like a
sure.
5K event that it says, hey, this is what it is, and then have a plan for okay, next thing I'm going to work on is whatever.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is um you can have varied interests and still make progress too. Like you don't
Yeah,
I think that a lot of times there's a little bit of a the way I would put it is the more specific your goal is, the more specific your training needs to be. So if you are like, I just want to be healthy, I want to have fun, I want to like get stronger, I want to build some muscle, I want to maintain my mobility, we have so many options to do those things, and they can be incredibly varied. If you're like, I want a PR on a marathon, I'm like, okay, your training looks different now, right? Like your training now becomes more specific. And so it's thinking about what that trade-off is for you, whether you're shooting for a more general health goal or whether you have a very specific performance goal. And it's okay to go between those. You might have a period where you're like, hey, for this 3 months of the year, I have a very specific goal. For the rest of the year, my goal is just to be healthy and have fun. And it really opens up. You don't have to beat yourself up. There's no uh, gold medal for only training towards a specific goal all the time, right? So you can kind of let yourself have some different seasons to your training throughout the year, which is another question we got. Now I'm like masterfully weaving these questions in. You guys don't even know.
It's the
But
weave.
we have other people that were asking about, oh, I fall off in the winter or I have trouble with sustaining stuff year round. What do I do? And I really think this seasonality of training is another really great way to approach things where it's like in the winter I train like this, in the summer I train like this, in the spring I train like this. And that naturally breaks you up into those 12-week increments about anyway and allows you to kind of do more outside stuff in the summer and do more inside stuff in the winter and train around that a bit, which can be really nice. Um, so I think that that would be another great way to do it. And the other thing that I will do with people, if they have a specific goal, but they find themselves continually being pulled away, but we've talked about it, like, no, I really do care about this goal. I just like the variety, the novelty of things is attractive to me. It scratches an itch in my brain. I like doing it. We try to deliver that in small doses in other ways. So let's say you want to run your race, but you're also like, I also want to be the strongest man in the world. Obviously, those are competing for resources at the same time. I would have you do your focused runs, but then on an off day, we're doing technique lifting sessions, right? Where it's not about blasting your lower body, but we're doing like the mental prep work and physical prep work so that when your race is over, you can now work on becoming world's strongest man, right? So we're adding some of that in. Or we'll randomize what like the last couple of exercise, like you still have your core workout that has these three lifts are the same every time, but your other lifts are randomized. You roll a d20, you pick from this list. You have like some variety with the auxiliary movements, the other movements, so that the workout feels fresh and interesting and kind of can help you feel more engaged that way while still holding on to like the core element that we're trying to see progression in. And that can help too. So those are some ideas. Yeah, that's a great question,
Awesome.
man.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Is do this goal better than strength, cardio, etc. times X times per week? Is that for motivation purposes? Um, I guess I would, Emery, to answer your question, I think I'm understanding this. I think you're saying is having a specific target better than having more of a. I don't think either one is better. Um, the do this goal is what I would call a. Yeah, yeah. Okay, gotcha. So like having a specific goal of run a marathon versus run 3 times per week. The way that we distinguish these two things are outcome goals and behavior goals. I might have touched on this earlier, but an outcome goal is something that is hopefully meaningful to you and that you care about. And for some people in our coaching program, having the outcome goal is a key motivator for them. It helps them. You can't get to the outcome goal without having the behaviors to go along with it, right? So uh, I don't think either one is better. I see both work for people. Um, and it's really figuring out and I think for most people occasional outcome goals with persistent behavior goals is the thing that works, right? Like I'm going to try to make this a part of my life. I'm going to figure out how to fit it in. I'm going to adjust to like my crazy schedule and everything. And periodically, I'm going to pick a really specific target to go for, and that's going to be like a fun extra thing to work on for that period of time, but it's not something I need all the time. That tends to be the thing that I see work best. Everyone's mileage will vary. That was a marathon joke. Uh, can I share how that would work for running, like a race once or twice a year? Yep. Yep. Just like that. You have an event every year, maybe every year, I know we had a client every year went and ran the Disney 5K. And like that was their one event for the year. And so we would be working on running and still improving running, but it was more about the habit and building strength and stuff. But then in that 12 to 16 weeks leading up to the race, the training got a little bit more focused. We had some different progressions we built in. It allowed them to build to a peak and then have a recovery after that. And it felt helpful to them to have kind of that more specific training period. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're getting close to 7:30. I'm gonna try to pick. Thank you everyone who's been hanging with us this whole time. Um, I'm gonna pick a couple more. Before I do, I wanted to invite you if you're someone who's feeling overwhelmed with all the fitness choices or frustrated that you're not making progress and just want a friendly neighborhood nerd in your corner that's going to uh, help you plan, take the thinking off your plate, and be in your corner the whole time, consistently reaching out, helping you stay accountable, brainstorming through solutions with you, then you're exactly the type of person we want in Nerd Fitness Coaching. I would love for you to check us out as kind of a celebration for the end of the January challenge that I'm running. I was looking ahead. It looks like we have about 10 spots open on our coaching rosters over the next couple weeks. So the first 10 people that book a call and sign up, mention that you're part of the 2026 challenge, and you'll get a sweet discount off of your first few months of training. And would love to chat with you about that. So come check us out. Just a little thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. And I know that sometimes we all just need that little nudge that says like, hey, oh, I get a cool bonus if I sign up now. Yep, sign up before end of day Sunday, book a call, and we'll give you a discount off of your first 3 months of training with us. Check it out. All right, let's answer a couple more questions. And reading through a couple of different ones here. Here's a good one on consistency. I get going for a week or two in the gym or watching my food intake, and then I fall off the wagon. What are the easiest, most effective, best ways to start a habit that I can maintain? This is an amazing question. The first thing that I would say here is that you've already done some attempts of this, and so the first thing I'd want to know is what went well in those few weeks. What things can we learn that went well, and what were tended to be the things that made you fall off track, right? Was it did you notice that like, hey, I got an injury and that knocked me off, or was someone getting sick, or was work schedule picking up, or whatever? Your previous experience is a gold mine of information. It is a gold mine of information so we can figure out what's going to work for you. And if I can teach you to mine those previous experiences and then make adjustments from there, like that's literally what coaching is, right? Coaching is we know we have all these principles, but we learn from what's going on in your life and what works for you, and we make adjustments moving forward. I would not be a good coach if all I did was write you the perfect plan. on day one and just hand it to you and say, go do it. Like that's not actually how it works. And we have to learn a lot along the way because life is going to throw you curveballs. Um, so that's the first thing I would say is what can we learn from your previous things? And then can we make a proactive plan for what you will pivot to when that situation comes up again? This was a big part of the challenge, right? Figuring out what the biggest pitfalls are going to be and then planning ahead for them. I think that's the first thing I would try to teach. Um, as far as what are the easiest, most effective, best ways to start a habit you can maintain, um, I'll give you a couple ideas. The first is that I always focus on consistency before intensity, meaning I want you to be getting the practicing, getting the workouts in uh, more often than I care about those workouts being quote unquote perfect or optimal because we can always ramp it up once the habit is built. So let's start with the consistency part first. And then the uh, second thing that I would say here is that the habit isn't always going to look the same. So an example of this, uh, George, you didn't know there was a Find My Coach quiz. Yes, there's a Find My Coach quiz. Check it out. Um, an example of this uh, is if you're working, let's say you're working on eating better, you want to lose some weight, you want to have enough to eat enough protein to build muscle. The habit that you're working on might be eating more protein, but that could look different, like day to day or week to week or month to month, right? It could look like, oh, I'm going to add a protein shake as an afternoon snack, or oh, I'm going to have some extra protein prepped on the side that I'm going to add in with dinner, or oh, I'm going to focus on like there's lots of ways to attain that habit. So it's not always going to look the exact same. It's going to change over time. I can't tell you the number of people. Like I have a one of my clients now came in, wanted to work out regularly, wanted to eat better. We started off by focusing on uh, not eating snacks and having like other ideas to do to reroute her for like snack times. And then it ended up that she wanted to focus on meals, and so we started building these balanced meals around the Nerd Fitness balance plate, which we have in our free guides you can check out. And then later on, she wanted to do calorie and macro tracking for a little bit, and that was something when we first started, she told me she would never want to do. But after about 9 months of building these other habits in place, she was excited about doing it and got a lot of value out of it. So it's just about finding that right tool at the right time. Um, but lowering the barrier to entry of yourself, getting some quick wins, celebrating those wins, and really everything that I taught in the challenge, I stand by. Find those pitfalls, plan out what you're going to pivot, how you're going to pivot when those come up, track your wins, and then every few weeks, step back, zoom out, make an adjustment, see what you can learn, and go back in. If you can do that, you are going to be successful. And that's exactly what we do in our coaching program for people. We just help you do that process easier because we have the tools and the experience to help you. All right, let's end on one more. Unless there's any last minute hand raises. If there's any last minute hand raises, happy to help you out. This one feels pretty broad and like it could help a bunch of people. Goal setting. How do I make goals small enough to build momentum, but big enough that I don't get demotivated over lack of progress? Okay. Couple of thoughts here. Um, the first up is that it's very normal to feel demotivated if you don't feel like you're making progress. I think that uh, we humans function off of feedback loops. We function by like doing something and knowing whether or not it's working. So you don't want to just keep pouring your time, your precious time and energy into something if it doesn't feel like it's getting you anywhere. right? That doesn't feel good. So I think that's very normal. Usually with goal setting, there's a couple things that I'm thinking about. One is how realistic is it? So if someone has a goal of like, I want to increase my bench press by 300 pounds in a week, I'm like, well, that's not very realistic, right? We're gonna have to put bionic arms on you. So I want to know, like, is it within the realm of possibility? And I did do a video about this, about like giving you some guidelines about what some common strength building, muscle building, and weight loss like ranges can be. And I will drop that in the chat if I can. So that will give you some ideas for that. The first thing I think is realistic. Second, I think, is it realistic for you? Meaning, in order to make this amount of progress on this goal with everything else you've got going on in your life, what kind of rate of progress are we going to be making? And then I would just set up systems so that you can be tracking progress with hopefully without getting discouraged, because you're going to track progress in a way that you know kind of like the target trend line that you're shooting for. And if you're off of that trend line for a few weeks, then hey, we know we need to make an adjustment. And so we change things up and then keep going. And that way it doesn't ever feel, I feel like with clients, the goal is to help them look at it all like data. We are getting data from your real world experience, and we're using that to continue to refine the process and keep you on track. Um, and I think a lot of the disappointment can come is if you're not even sure exactly what to expect when you're goal setting. Like, is this realistic? Is this something I should set for myself? Or life throws you curveballs, but you don't change your expectations on like what you expect from yourself. There's got to be a little bit of play there. Thanks, Artie. Appreciate it. There's got to be a little bit of play there. And then having those systems. So an example is worked with I feel like I do way better when someone's in front of me and I can talk to you. Uh, but there was a lady that wrote in earlier this week, was feeling really frustrated about not seeing progress. And we talked through it, and just based on the timeline, everything that she was doing, my recommendation was actually just to keep doing the things she was doing for a few more weeks, collect some more data, and then make an adjustment if she needed to, because I felt like she was already doing the right things and she just needed more time. Sometimes that's the answer. You just need a little bit more time. But I know it can be rough out here, especially when I feel like just so much information that promotes unrealistic uh, schedules and unrealistic changes happening really quickly. It can be hard to navigate that all. So hopefully, Nerd Fitness, we try to be a light in the dark. We try to steer you right with all of our nerdiness and how much we love helping people in coaching. Hopefully, we can steer you in the right direction and give you help. So, again, if you enjoyed this session, please write in, let me know. This is an experiment. If people like this, I'd be happy to do something like this again. I only touched on, I hit on some broad topics, but I only touched on probably a tenth of the questions I had written down that got sent in ahead of time. So I think there's definitely more to play with. And once again, if you're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed or don't know what to do, we're here to help. Please check us out. We'd love to work with you and see if it's a good fit. So, all right. Take care, everybody. Peace. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad it was helpful. Thanks, George. Thanks for being here. Thanks, y'all.